person controlling everything, the devil behind it all, is my own uncle.
Before you move to part 3, hello my dear subscribers and family. You may notice the voice sounds different today. That's because our main voiceover artist just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. She is now busy with her new baby and enjoying motherhood. Let's all congratulate her together. From now on, I'm Rachel and I'll be the one telling this story. I'm happy to join you on this emotional real-life journey. Before we start part 3, we'd like to connect with you. Please, tell us what country you're watching from and the time it is there. Drop it in the comment. It's wonderful to see how far this story has gone and how many people it is touching. Quick reminder, this story is not made up. Everything you hear really happened to someone. You are watching a true life journey of pain, hope, and strength. And before we begin, let's quickly flash back to part 2. This will help refresh your memory, so you're fully caught up on all that has happened. So, stay with us. You won't want to miss what's coming next. So she began to disguise herself more elaborately, cutting and dyeing her hair, changing her walking style, and even altering her voice. But while protecting herself, she was also desperately looking for Amaka. Her guilt over leaving Amaka behind consumed her day and night. She thought Amaka might still be hiding in the forest where they had separated, so she bravely went back to that dangerous area despite the risk. She searched for hours, calling Amaka's name softly, checking every hiding spot she could think of. The forest was vast and full of dangers, both human and animal. She looked behind every large tree in every cave, near every stream, hoping to find some sign of her friend. But the forest was empty except for the sounds of birds and insects. Amaka was nowhere to be found, and Chioma's heart grew heavier with each passing hour. She continued to search the forest until she found something on the ground that made her blood run cold. There were footprints in the soft earth, one set clearly belonging to Amaka based on the shoe size and pattern, and multiple other prints that looked like they belonged to men wearing heavy boots. The prints told a story of chase and capture. There were signs of struggle, broken branches, and disturbed undergrowth. Then she knew for sure, with a heavy heart, that Amaka had been caught by the men. There was no doubt about it. She stood in the forest, tears running down her face, feeling broken and confused. One part of her mind told her to run away from the city immediately and leave Amaka to the men. It was too risky to try a rescue. Self-preservation was shouting at her to run. But another part of her, the part that still had some humanity, wanted to risk everything to save Amaka. She slowly left the forest, her head full of thoughts and plans. How could just one woman like her save Amaka from these strong and dangerous men? It felt impossible, like something from an action movie, not real life. She had no weapons, no help, and no real fighting skills except some street smarts. The worst thing was she didn't even know where they had taken Amaka. The dog business had many places, safe houses and compounds far apart. Amaka could be anywhere, even hundreds of miles away. The task looked impossible. But Chioma couldn't stop seeing Amaka's trusting face in her mind. She had brought that girl into this nightmare. Didn't she owe it to her to try pulling her out? The weight of guilt and responsibility made the choice for her. She decided to try, even if it meant she might die. Back at the doghouse, the men noticed how very beautiful Amaka was. Even tired and sad, they realized they caught someone special. They gave her a higher price than any other girl. Her young age, beauty, and the story of how she was caught made her very valuable to certain buyers who paid extra money. She became the most precious captive they had. They put her in a special cell and gave her better food to keep her looking good. Most prominent men came to view her, interested in purchasing her for various horrible purposes. But when they heard the price tag, even wealthy evil men balked at the cost. The amount was astronomical, set deliberately high by the higher-level men who sensed they had something special. That outrageous price was ironically what kept her alive as buyer after buyer walked away shaking their heads at the cost. Amaka had thought the higher-level men represented the final stage of the dog business hierarchy, but she was terribly wrong. Above them existed an even more powerful figure. The overall boss was called the God of Business, and it was controlled by a man who had named himself after the evil enterprise. This man was a legend in criminal circles, someone whose real name was unknown but whose power was absolute. He controlled doghouses across multiple countries, had judges and politicians in his pocket, and commanded an army of loyal followers. He rarely involved himself in day-to-day operations, preferring to rule from the shadows. The god of business heard about one special captive and how expensive she was at the higher-level house. His interest was piqued. Anything that valuable deserved his personal attention. So he instructed them to bring her to him immediately. He had international buyers who would pay enormous sums for someone matching her description. So that morning, Amaka was dragged away from her prison cell without warning or explanation. The guards were rougher than usual, their fear of disappointing the god of business, making them brutal in their efficiency. They threw her into an expensive car with tinted windows and drove her away from the compound she had started to know. The journey was long and terrifying, taking her even deeper into the criminal underworld. She was taken to the god of business's personal compound, a place that looked like a luxury estate from the outside, but hid unimaginable horrors within. Arrangements were already being made for her fate. They were going to use her for a ritual to settle a major international deal. The buyers were coming in from overseas. Amaka was going to be the main person at a big ceremony that would seal deals worth millions, money made with blood. The god of business was another kind of evil Amaka could hardly believe. The size of his business, the way he was cruel without care, and how he had no human feelings, she couldn't understand how people like that could live among normal humans. They pretended to be businessmen and good people while running such bad things behind the scenes. By this time, Amaka was ready for the worst, even death. The torture, shame, and hopelessness had broken something deep inside her. She even thought death would be better than living through all this pain. Life had become only pain. She found herself praying for it to end. But fate wasn't done with her yet. There was still more suffering to face and more evil to see before her story would end. Meanwhile, Chioma was not ready to give up on Amaka, even though saving her seemed impossible. To find Amaka, Chioma knew she must go back and learn everything she could about the dog business. She spent many days collecting information, remembering things she overheard, mapping the places she had been, and putting together the structure of the dog business. She carefully talked to people who were close to the crime world but not fully inside it. After a lot of dangerous questions and research, she found out that the top dog businessmen usually met in a certain state regularly. This gave her an exact place to look for the powerful dog bosses. It wasn't much, but it was a start. At least now she had a direction for her very hard rescue mission. So, she sold everything she had, her jewelry and expensive clothes, and gathered enough money. She even got a car through her connections because she knew she would need transport and to look rich to get close to these men. The dog business respected money and power. She would need to project both to have any chance. She packed light but smart, including items that might help in various scenarios. Cash for bribes, a knife for protection, and various disguises. She later boarded a bus to avoid the attention a car might bring and traveled to the exact state she had identified from her research. Her heart was heavy with fear but also burning with determination. That must be where they took Amaka, she reasoned. She had to believe it. Had to have hope or the guilt would consume her entirely. Meanwhile, Amaka was no longer at the higher level house. She had already been taken to the god of business himself. Transported like precious cargo to his personal compound. She was now classified as one of the most important captives in the entire network. Her value having caught the attention of the very top of the criminal hierarchy. The time for her ritual was approaching fast with preparations being made for an elaborate ceremony. International buyers were arriving. Money was changing hands and Amaka's fate was being sealed with each passing hour. She had no idea that somewhere out there Chioma was desperately trying to find her, following cold trails and facing impossible odds. Two women bound by tragedy. One imprisoned in the depths of hell, the other racing against time to attempt an impossible rescue. The clock was ticking and death was waiting for them both. Chioma finally found the building, the exact building of the higher level men. Chioma finally found the building, the exact head office of the big men. After many days of careful watching and studying, the compound was even more scary than she thought. The walls were tall and had electric wire at the top. Cameras covered every corner. Even with all the heavy security and many workers watching every move, Chioma managed to get inside by planning well and being very patient. She spent hours watching how the guards changed shifts, remembering their patterns and finding short times when some areas were less watched. Her heart beat fast as she moved quietly in the shadows, knowing that one mistake could mean she would be caught and surely killed. But her guilt for Amaka and her wish to fix things gave her courage that felt bigger than fear. She moved like a ghost, using all the skills she had from years of surviving in danger. She was very good because of her past and the work she did for the dog business. She had put many girls in traps before, so she knew exactly how these bad operations worked inside. She changed her appearance completely. She dyed her hair, changed how she walked, put fake scars on her face with makeup, and even changed how she held her body to look older and tired. Even people who knew her well might not recognize her this way. She had watched the workers carefully during her spying. She memorized how they moved, talked, and most important, how they dressed. Her disguise had to be perfect, because these men were very suspicious and trained to catch anyone spying on them. Just one suspicious look from a guard could ruin everything before it even started. She wore exactly the same type of clothes the workers in the house wore, a specific uniform she had painstakingly replicated from the research she made before coming. The devil was in the details, the right shade of blue, the correct placement of badges, even the worn areas that showed regular use. She had purchased similar clothes and then aged them to match what she had observed. When the men saw her, they thought she was just another one of the workers in the house. Perhaps someone transferred from another location. She kept her head down, moved with purpose, but not haste, and avoided eye contact while still appearing natural. Using this cover, she made her moves through the compound, systematically checking every area where prisoners might be held. Her heart HDHD as she looked at all the prisoners, searching desperately for Amaka among the faces of despair. But the problem was she couldn't find Amaka anywhere in the compound. She checked cell after cell, cage after cage, finding only strangers who looked at her with dead eyes. Each face that wasn't Amaka's felt like a stab to her heart. She grew tired and increasingly desperate from searching, knowing that time was running out and her disguise wouldn't hold forever. Finally, she decided to take a calculated risk and pretended to casually ask another worker there, trying to sound like she was just making conversation. "Hey, wasn't there supposed to be a special captive here? The expensive one everyone was talking about?" she asked, keeping her tone light and gossipy. The response chilled her to the bone. "Are you not aware that the captive has been taken to the god of business?" the person asked with a knowing look. "Lucky girl. She'll fetch the biggest price we've ever seen." God of business? The words rang in her mind like funeral bells. She had heard whispers of this figure, but never believed he was real. If Amaka had been taken to him, the situation was even more desperate than she had imagined. That must be where Amaka was taken to. And Chioma knew that place would be even more heavily guarded and dangerous. Chioma carefully got more information from the other workers in the house. She pretended to be interested and impressed by the big deal they were talking about. She learned where it would happen, when it was scheduled, and most importantly, that something big was planned for the special captive. She gathered every bit of information while acting like a worker who was curious but not too nosy. When she learned all she could, she left the building as carefully as she came in. Her mind was already busy planning the next impossible step. Chioma was ready to take all the risks to save Amaka. The logical part of her knew this was almost suicide. But she was past caring about logic. She knew calling the police was useless because these men were friends and allies of the police. The corruption was deep. Reporting to the police would only warn the criminals and get Chioma and Amaka killed. The police chiefs went to parties with these men, took bribes, and sometimes even gave them information about police investigations. So, if Chioma wanted to save Amaka, she had to do it alone. She had to be a one-woman army fighting against a powerful evil empire. She started planning how to reach the god of business's place, knowing this was her last chance. Either she saved Amaka, or they both would die trying. Meanwhile, at the god of business's mansion, the ritual began slowly with scary preparations. Amaka was forced to sleep inside a special coffin made for her. She had to stay there for 2 days before the main ritual could start. The coffin was black wood, carved with strange signs and lined with red silk that looked like dried blood. "You want me to sleep inside this thing? Why are you doing this to people? Just end my suffering now instead of making me go through all this," Amaka begged, her voice full of pain. The thought of being buried alive, even just part of the way, scared her more than death. But her captors didn't care. They ignored her words like the buzzing of a small insect. They had done this many times before, and her pleas meant nothing to them. The boss leader looked at her carefully with cold, calculating eyes. "Don't talk unless you're told to do so," he commanded in a voice that balked no argument. His presence was terrifying. A man who had built an empire on human suffering and felt no remorse. To him, Amaka was not a person, but a commodity, a tool for a transaction worth millions. This was a presidential ritual designed to protect the president of a certain country from outside threats. The buyer believed that sacrificing a pure, beautiful young woman would create a spiritual shield around him. That was why they were more interested in Amaka than any other captive, because her buyer was a president who would fetch them more money than they had ever made from a single transaction. The international connections and political power behind this made it their most important deal ever. Now Amaka understood clearly, in a terrible way, why the first houseguard she met on her first day told her that the dog business was more dangerous than it seemed. It was never really about dogs. That was just a secret code name to hide what they actually did. This was pure human trafficking on a huge scale, with their hands touching governments, businesses, and religious groups all over the world. The dogs were only tools to torture and control people. The real business was selling humans for evil things that were too bad to fully understand. They forced Amaka to lie in the coffin, even though she cried and fought. She prayed hard to her late parents, begging them to take her life before the 2 days were up. She wanted them to take her peacefully instead of letting her suffer what was coming. The coffin felt like a preview of her grave. The men closed the coffin door halfway, leaving a small opening so she could breathe and not die from the heat inside. They did this with careful calculation, closed enough to make the ritual work, but open enough to keep their valuable merchandise alive. They lifted the coffin with machines and took it to a special room full of hundreds of burning candles. The flickering lights made shadows dance on the walls. The air smelled thick with incense and evil. The room had been used many times before for rituals. The walls were stained with the spiritual marks of many victims. Then the men laughed and started partying in the rooms next door. They drank expensive wine and counted their blood money while waiting for the 2 days to finish. After that, Amaka would be ready for the final ritual. They believed their twisted religion said the ritual only works if the person had slept inside a coffin for 2 days, so that death slowly entered their bones while their life stayed barely alive. So, this meant Chioma must save her before the 2 days elapsed, or she would lose Amaka forever to an unspeakable fate. The clock was ticking with each candle flame that flickered in that cursed room. While Amaka lay in living death, praying for actual death, Chioma was somewhere out there planning an impossible rescue. 2 women bound by fate, one trapped between life and death in a coffin. The other racing against time with nothing but determination and guilt driving her forward. The next 48 hours would determine whether redemption was possible or whether the dog business would claim them both. In that candle-lit room, Amaka's breathing was shallow and frightened. Each breath a reminder that she was still alive, but wishing she wasn't. Time had become her enemy, and Chioma her only hope. A hope she didn't even know existed. Amaka sleeps with dogs today because of me. I introduced her to the business. She was just a poor girl who lost her parents and fell into poverty. I regret everything I did to her. And now I must pay her back by saving her no matter what it takes. Even if it costs my life, I will do it, Chioma thought as she put on her dress in the hotel room. She now knew exactly where the men who used Amaka for rituals were keeping her. She had to head there without wasting time. Though she knew it was a dangerous place, she had no choice. If she must save the girl, then she must go, regardless of the consequences awaiting her. She left the hotel, covering her face with a scarf in case her enemies might notice her. She proceeded straight to the location as planned. It was an enormous mansion guarded by tall imposing walls. But this presented no problem for Chioma because she had already formulated her strategy. Somehow she managed to infiltrate the building without detection. The structure itself was a frightening place to be both during daylight and nighttime hours. She began searching for the secret room where they would be keeping Amaka. She already knew their plan to sell her for ritual purposes, but her rescue mission was interrupted when patrol guards wandering the premises noticed her. "Hey, stop there and show your face," they shouted. But she didn't turn back. She ran as fast as she could while they pursued her. The emergency alarm sounded, alerting everyone in the building that an intruder was present. Soon they searched for her in groups, and they eventually caught her. She couldn't escape as they had superior numbers. Chioma knew today might be her final day on Earth because the guards would likely not spare her life. "Finish her," one guard commanded another. "No, we can't just kill an intruder. We need to take her to the boss," another suggested. And they all agreed with this course of action. They dragged Chioma to the boss known as the God of Business, the mastermind controlling all the illicit operations. He paid young girls to sleep with dogs and later sold them for ritual purposes. "Sir, we found an intruder sneaking around the mansion." One guard reported they stood holding Chioma, awaiting the boss's instructions. He held his cigarette with his head bent downward, not initially seeing Chioma. When he finally raised his head, shock registered on his face as his eyes met Chioma's. She was equally shocked. The big boss was Chioma's uncle, the richest man in their family. "Uncle Joe," Chioma said in surprise. "Chioma, oh my God, what are you doing in my house?" Chioma knew she had to stay calm so her uncle wouldn't guess she already knew his secret and his evil business. "Uncle, I just came to visit you," she lied. "Chioma, this is a surprise. How did you find me?" he asked, sounding suspicious. "Uncle Joe, it took me my whole life to find you. I'm happy I did. I need money, I can't even feed myself." Chioma kept up her lie. "Take her to one of the rooms. Make her comfortable. She's my brother's daughter," the boss ordered his men. They took Chioma to a clean room and gave her food. "Feel at home," they said. Chioma couldn't believe her own Uncle Joe was the leader of this evil operation. No wonder he is so rich, she thought. The boss thought Chioma was just visiting. He did not know she used to work for the dog owners and came to save Amaka. But the foreign man who wanted to buy girls for rituals did not like Chioma's visit. He told the boss many times that Chioma might not be trustworthy. "No. She is my brother's child. She can't harm me or our plan. We can still use the girls for the ritual even if she stays here. Remember, her room is secret and she will leave soon. She is just visiting," the boss told the foreigner. "I'm just careful," the foreigner said. "You don't have to worry. Chioma is just a girl. She won't mess with our plans," Uncle Joe replied, not worried. When night came, Chioma got ready to put her plan in action. She sneaked out of her room quietly to look for the secret place where Amaka might be. This time, she had to be very careful. If she got caught, nothing would save her. She walked quietly like a ghost, not making any noise or leaving tracks. She kept looking in the building until she found the secret room. It was a room with no door, lit only by candlelight. From far away, she saw a coffin with a person lying inside. That must be Amaka. But Chioma did not know she was not alone. Someone had been watching her every move. The foreign man who never trusted her was watching her all the time. "I knew it," he said to himself. "She is here for the captive. I paid for her and I won't let this Chioma girl take her. I must tell the boss right now." He quickly left to tell the boss. Meanwhile, Chioma went straight to the coffin and shook Amaka. "Amaka, Amaka, wake up. We must go now," she said. At first, Amaka did not move, but Chioma kept shaking her and calling her name until Amaka finally woke up and opened her eyes. "Chioma," Amaka said weakly. "Amaka, don't make noise," Chioma warned as she opened the coffin fully. She helped Amaka out and gave her a small bottle of water she had brought. "You came to save me. This is very risky, Chioma. If they catch you, they won't spare you. You could have left me to die." "I was ready," Amaka said. There's no time to talk now. We must leave right away before they find us, Chioma said. The man in charge of this operation is my uncle. I still can't believe it. Chioma replied. What? Your uncle? Amaka asked incredulously. No time to explain. We need to go. We'll take the back exit, Chioma insisted. They stepped out of the secret room, ready to escape, but it was too late. The men stood right in front of them. Surprise. Where do you two think you're going? The boss asked mockingly. Uncle, I won't allow you to do such things to this innocent girl, Chioma declared. Shut up. If you weren't my brother's child, you'd be dead already, he threatened. Well, I came to save my friend, and no one will stop me, Chioma retorted, releasing a substance that sprayed out like smoke, quickly filling the area and obscuring everyone's vision. She had come prepared. They used the confusion to flee the scene, but the men released their watched dogs to pursue them. This time, Amaka and Chioma were determined not to stop, and they soon escaped the building. They reached the highway and began frantically waving at passing vehicles. The men were still chasing them, and if they couldn't secure transportation quickly, they would certainly be recaptured. They continued waving and shouting for help, but none of the cars slowed down. The drivers were all afraid that stopping might endanger them as well. Finally, one car stopped and they attempted to enter, but the driver hesitated. Where are you headed? The taxi driver asked. Please save us. Some men are chasing us. Please don't let them catch us. We'll pay whatever amount you ask. They pleaded desperately. But the taxi driver grew fearful. I'm sorry. I can't help you. You need to find another car, he said before driving away, leaving them stranded on the highway that night. They resumed waving at more cars, but none stopped until one vehicle spotted them from a distance. The driver, seeing that the women needed help, pulled over. Get in, he called, and they immediately jumped into the car as it sped away. You need to drive faster. Some people are trying to kidnap us, Chioma explained urgently. The driver accelerated. The boss ordered his men to pursue the girls in their own vehicle, but they lost track of Chioma and Amaka. They returned to report their failure, which infuriated the boss. She knows my secret, my real identity. I cannot allow her to expose the dog business. I know exactly how to stop my niece. He fumed. By morning, the car had transported Chioma and Amaka to Lagos State, where everything had begun. They felt happy and safe at last, having escaped the men and the cruel rituals. They promised each other they would never go back to such a situation. To make sure of that, Chioma decided to expose her uncle on television so that everyone in the country would know about his evil business. Are you really ready to expose your own uncle? Amaka asked as they entered the house. I have no choice. This is the only way to keep people safe, including us. If we don't expose him, he will never stop until he catches us again, Chioma explained. Just then, her phone rang. It was her mother's number. Chioma picked up, but instead of her mother's voice, there was a strange voice. She quickly knew her mother was in danger. If you want your mother to live, you must not tell anyone about the dog business, who owns it or runs it, the voice warned. What have you done to my mother? Don't hurt her, Chioma cried, tears running down her face. Her mother was the only family she had left. Now, because of Chioma and Amaka's escape, her mother was kidnapped. Your mother will stay safe as long as you do what we say, the voice continued. What do you want from me? Chioma begged. Like I said, if you want your mother alive, keep quiet about what you saw, the caller said, then ended the call. My uncle is truly evil. I can't believe he kidnapped my mother and is holding her hostage just because of money. I don't know what to do, Chioma said in pain. Your mother will be fine. Maybe we should not expose him. Maybe we should forget everything and try to live quiet lives, Amaka suggested. No, they will always come after us. The dog business is more dangerous than you think, Chioma said. Anyone who knows their secret becomes a target until they eliminate that person. Chioma explained grimly. So, you mean your uncle wouldn't hesitate to kill you even though you're related to him? Amaka asked horrified. He wouldn't care. That's their rule. We won't be safe until they're exposed and the business is completely destroyed. Chioma replied, the weight of their predicament settling heavily upon her shoulders as she contemplated their next move in this dangerous game of life and death. During all these months Amaka spent sleeping with dogs, she unknowingly contracted a deadly virus from the animals. She remained ignorant of this fact, focused only on the millions she earned daily from the horrific arrangements. Although the business had spiraled beyond her expectations with the dog owners secretly involved in human trafficking and ritual sacrifices, Amaka had managed to survive and escape the trauma of her past. She had evaded capture several times with Chioma providing crucial assistance despite being the very person who had introduced her to the business initially. But now, things had become very serious and painful. Amaka had a virus inside her body, but no one knew yet. Meanwhile, the men kept chasing her, wanting to kill her for good. They couldn't expose these criminals anymore because Chioma's mother was still their prisoner. The two women felt like they were just surviving day by day without any clear way forward. As time went on, Amaka started showing signs of sickness. It began with small headaches she thought nothing of. But the symptoms got worse. She had a bad cough and chills. She tried to treat herself with medicine you buy without a doctor, hoping to get better. But she only got worse. She told Chioma about it, and Chioma said they should go to a pharmacy to see a professional. Neither of them knew the sickness was from Amaka being forced to go through painful things with the dogs. The virus was slowly taking over her body. I think I should see a real doctor, Amaka said. I don't understand what is happening to my body. They made an appointment and went to see the doctor the next day. The doctor checked Amaka and ran some tests but only found small problems. The real virus from the dogs didn't show up in the usual tests. I think you will get better soon. This is just a common fever, the doctor said. Take these medicines as I tell you, and you will feel better in a few days. Amaka felt hopeful and started the medicine. But soon, her hope faded because she got worse. She stopped wanting to eat, not even able to take small bites. Her health dropped faster than anyone expected. She stayed in bed, very weak and barely awake. The next morning, Chioma made breakfast and waited for Amaka to come out of her room, but there was no answer. After waiting a long time and getting worried, Chioma went to check on her friend. What she saw was terrible. Amaka was lying still on the bed, struggling to breathe and too weak to move. Amaka! Amaka! Oh my God! Chioma cried as she rushed to help her. She managed to get Amaka out of bed, found a taxi quickly, and rushed her to the hospital. Please, doctor, her condition is very bad now. My friend is dying. You have to help, Chioma begged with tears in her eyes. Calm yourself, the doctor responded, following the nurses as they wheeled Amaka toward an examination room. Chioma remained outside the ward, perched anxiously on a small chair, tears streaming down her face. After everything they had endured, all the suffering and risks taken to escape the dog owners. Could Amaka simply die now? The thought was unbearable. She would never forgive herself. She prayed silently, beseeching God to heal her friend and provide a cure for whatever affliction tormented her. Inside, the medical team performed numerous tests, but failed to identify the cause of Amaka's condition. They determined that specialized testing would be necessary. Expensive procedures requiring significant financial resources. The doctor emerged to speak with Chioma, who immediately bombarded him with questions. How is she doing? How is my friend? Is she alive? Is she dead? Please tell me something. Don't just stand there quiet, Chioma said, her voice shaking with worry. Please calm down. You're talking too fast, the doctor said gently. Your friend is not dead, but she is not well. We don't know yet what is wrong. That's nonsense. You are a doctor. You should know what is wrong with her, Chioma yelled. Normally, yes, the doctor said patiently, but only if you can pay for special tests. Sorry, we need thorough screening to check her fully. How much will it cost? Chioma asked, afraid of the answer. 5 million naira, the doctor said flatly. 5 million just for testing? How can I get that kind of money? Chioma gasped, shocked. Without the payment, we can't continue treatment. She could die soon. Her condition is worsening by the minute, the doctor warned seriously. Please do the tests. I will pay later. Don't let her die, Chioma begged. The doctor shook his head. I know life is more important than money, but hospital rules are strict. Breaking them means losing our jobs. Please, your mother should find the money fast. The sooner, the better chance to save her. Chioma left the hospital feeling empty and scared. Her mind raced. How could she get such a huge amount just for tests? And that was only for testing, not treatment. She had no friends to ask for help. Her past job bringing girls into the dog business was no longer an option. Now, those people wanted her dead to keep her quiet. At home, Chioma thought hard about what she could do. Then she remembered her property on the other side of Lagos, her only valuable thing left. Going there was dangerous because her enemies probably watched the place. But she made a plan to get the property papers and sell the house fast. She went carefully to the property, got the papers, and left quickly. She found some real estate buyers and sold the house for much less than it was worth because she needed the money fast. The deal was done. She took the money straight to the hospital and gave the doctor 5 million naira in cash. Start the tests now, she told them firmly. After getting the money, the medical team quickly began the full tests and searched carefully for what was wrong with Amaka. What they found was very worrying. This particular disease can only be transmitted from one source, animals, specifically dogs. The doctor explained solemnly to Chioma. You're saying my friend's illness originated from animals? She asked, knowing the terrible truth. Yes. Do you know whether she had any interactions with animals recently? The doctor inquired. Chioma couldn't bring herself to reveal Amaka's shameful past, how she had been forced to engage in bestial acts. Such disclosure seemed unconscionably humiliating. Instead, she quickly fabricated an alternative explanation. Yes, she encountered a dog. She was bitten several weeks ago. Everything seemed fine afterward. I never expected the situation to become this serious, Chioma lied, concealing the actual circumstances. The doctor appeared skeptical, sensing inconsistencies in her account. Are you certain it was merely a dog bite? This condition seems far too severe for such a simple explanation, he pressed doubtfully. I'm absolutely certain. It happened just a few weeks ago, Chioma insisted, maintaining her deception about the true nature of Amaka's exposure. If that's the case, I'll proceed with treatment, doing everything possible to save her, the doctor conceded reluctantly. Thank you, Chioma responded, relieved, but still anxious. The doctor resumed his work while Chioma returned home briefly to refresh herself. Although he accepted Chioma's explanation, treating Amaka with protocols designed for dog bites proved ineffective. Despite his best efforts, Amaka's condition remained critical, showing no signs of improvement. The fundamental problem was clear. Without understanding the true cause of her infection, proper treatment remained impossible, and Chioma continued withholding crucial information. Meanwhile, Chioma's uncle, Mr. Joe, the mastermind behind the dog business, who exploited young women before selling them for ritual purposes, remained determined to locate Chioma and Amaka. Because Chioma and Amaka escaped and knew about the dog business, the men saw them as dangerous problems they had to get rid of. His men searched the city, looking for any sign of the two women. One day, as Chioma walked toward the hospital carrying food for Amaka, one of Uncle Joe's men saw her from far away. I think we found one of the girls, he told his friend. They started following her quietly in their car, waiting for a good chance to catch her without people seeing. Chioma saw the suspicious car following her. But instead of panicking, she stayed calm and began to trick them. She made sudden turns, changed directions many times. Her plan worked. The men got confused and lost her. Damn. We lost her, they said with anger, driving away. Chioma came out safely from where she had been hiding in a busy place and kept going to the hospital. She brought the food, hoping Amaka was feeling better with the doctor's help. But she found out Amaka's condition had not changed, maybe it had become worse. I've tried every treatment for dog bites, but nothing is working, the doctor said. I don't think this is just a bite. I believe it is something deeper. Chioma felt the painful truth coming. Amaka's sickness was not from a simple bite, but from something terrible she was ashamed to say. How could she tell the doctor that Amaka had been forced to have sex with dogs? She was scared the truth would get out and bring more shame and pain to Amaka. "Doctor, will you promise to keep this a secret if I tell you the truth?" Chioma asked carefully. "You have my word," the doctor promised seriously. "My friend was hurt in a very bad and shameful way. She was forced to have sex with dogs. She had no choice," Chioma whispered. "Please, I hope you can save her and keep this secret." The doctor's face turned very serious hearing this. "I'm very sorry for what she went through. I will do my best to help her. But you must understand, she may never fully recover. If she lives, there's a 100% chance she might have permanent mental problems or become mentally ill." Chioma sat in the hospital, very worried. Even if Amaka lived, she might still have mental troubles. That thought was too hard to bear after everything they had suffered. While time passed, the doctor worked hard to bring Amaka back to life, and Chioma prayed with all her heart. Meanwhile, Uncle Joe was still determined to kill both women. His men searched the city day and night. The women faced two huge dangers, his men and Amaka's sickness. After weeks of treatment, Amaka's health started to get better. She woke up but still couldn't walk by herself. The progress was slow but gave hope until one sunny day at the hospital. While the doctor was administering medication to Amaka, two men suddenly burst into the hospital room wielding heavy weapons. Chioma immediately recognized who had sent them. "They found us," she whispered to herself. "Get down," the masked men commanded. The doctor quickly grabbed his phone and sent an urgent message to the police. One of the intruders noticed the doctor's actions, snatched the phone, and smashed it against the floor. "Leave us alone. What do you want from us?" Chioma demanded, though she already knew the answer. "You thought you could escape from us. It's time to return to your slavery," one masked man replied menacingly. Amaka could only lie helplessly on her bed, witnessing everything, but unable to move or flee due to her weakened condition. Her heart raced with fear, knowing these men intended to drag them back to the dog business and its horrors. The doctor attempted to protect Amaka, positioning himself between her and the assailants, but they violently shoved him aside. "Stay back or you'll be buried 6 feet underground," they threatened. One masked man grabbed Amaka from her bed while the other seized Chioma's arm, preparing to remove them from the ward. Suddenly, police sirens wailed outside the hospital building. "The police are here. What do we do?" one kidnapper asked his partner anxiously. "We can't take them while escaping. We need to leave them here and save ourselves." The other responded pragmatically. "No. What do you mean leave them here? Do you realize how long it took us to find these girls? We can't abandon them now. We must find a way to escape with them," the first man argued. "Leave them? I said leave them. There's nothing we can do. Do you want to spend the rest of your life in prison?" His partner countered. Outside, police officers announced through megaphones, "Surrender yourselves immediately. You are surrounded. There's nowhere to escape." Realizing their predicament, the men reluctantly released the women and attempted to flee. They rushed from the building, but were quickly apprehended by the waiting police officers. Chioma thanked the doctor profusely for alerting the authorities. "Don't worry, you're safe now," the doctor reassured her. "The police will investigate thoroughly. Arrest whoever is behind this operation and you'll no longer need to live in fear." "Thank you, doctor. But we cannot stay in this hospital," Chioma said. "We need to move now. These men know where we are. They will send more people." Chioma knew even the police couldn't stop Uncle Joe. She knew the men caught would be free as soon as her uncle made a phone call. He always paid police with bribes and had connections that let him do whatever he wanted. That was why Chioma said they had to leave the hospital for a safer place. "But I told you the police are investigating. No need to move your friend," the doctor said. "I'm sorry, but I know these men. The police cannot stop them. We must go," Chioma said strongly. At the police station, officers began questioning the men they caught, trying to find out who sent them. Under pressure, the men said Uncle Joe told them to kidnap Chioma and Amaka. When the police heard Uncle Joe, they called him right away and told him the men were caught. He just laughed and told the police to release his men. He sent big bribes so they listened to him. The corrupt police didn't protect the innocent. They let Joe's men go, and the men went straight to Joe with exact information about where Chioma and Amaka were. We found them at the hospital. We tried to catch them, but police stopped us, they told Joe. Good. The most important thing is that we know their hideout, Joe said happily. Get more men. We will attack at midnight when few police are around. But sir, one of the girls is very sick. We saw her in the hospital. She might not live, one man warned. Which one? Joe asked. The younger one, he answered. The foreign buyer stood nearby with angry eyes. A month ago, he paid a lot of money to buy Amaka for a ritual. Chioma's rescue stopped the deal from finishing, and Joe had been trying to calm the buyer down ever since, promising to catch Amaka again. Listen, Mr. Joe, I can't let that girl die before I use her for the ritual. Bring her to me before she gets worse, the buyer shouted angrily. Get the men ready. We attack at midnight. We must not fail. Don't come back without both women, Joe ordered. Meanwhile, Chioma arranged a way to move Amaka out of the hospital, sure her uncle would send more men soon. Even though the doctor said they were safe, Chioma did not want to take risks. Her uncle was very dangerous and would try again. She moved Amaka to a different hospital in another part of the city so they wouldn't be found. Amaka was getting better now, so the immediate danger to her health was less. At midnight, as planned, Joe's men stormed the first hospital with many men. People panicked and ran everywhere. The men rushed to the room where they last saw Chioma and Amaka but found it empty and very clean. This is impossible. This is exactly where we saw them, one man shouted in shock. Where are they now? Another asked. Enraged by this development, they invaded the doctor's office, holding him at gunpoint and demanding information about the women's whereabouts. I know nothing about their current location. They departed earlier today, the doctor explained truthfully. Tell us where they went or prepare to die, they threatened. I swear I have no information. Please don't kill me, the doctor pleaded desperately. Eventually, they left the hospital, frustrated and disappointed by their failed mission. They sent a message to Mr. Joe explaining that the women had vacated the hospital before their arrival. Furious, he ordered them to continue searching and not return until they located the women. The men stayed in the city and searched everywhere for them. After 2 days in the new hospital, Amaka got well and could walk again. The best news was she showed no signs of mental problems the first doctor warned about. When Amaka learned her sickness came from being forced to suffer with dogs, she promised never to go back to those men. She said she would rather fight to the death than go through that again. Mr. Joe still kept Chioma's mother prisoner. He threatened to kill her if Chioma did not return Amaka to him. But Chioma refused. She believed her uncle would not kill his own sister just because of business. When Amaka got better, they moved to another place. They kept changing apartments about every 2 weeks because they knew Mr. Joe was hunting them. One morning, sitting in their newest home, Amaka asked tiredly, "Is this how we will live, always running from place to place?" "No," Chioma said. "We need a final solution. That means telling the whole country about my uncle on TV and radio. But he is holding your mother. He said he will kill her if you try that," Amaka reminded her. Their main problem was how to end this nightmare for good. These bad men would never stop chasing them because they knew too much. "The men are still looking for us," Chioma said. "Maybe now is the best chance to talk with them, to help them see they're wrong. Together, we could plan to stop my uncle." "You think these men will betray their boss and work with you?" "That's impossible," Amaka said, shocked. "I must try," Chioma said. "They are human too. I believe they don't like what they do. They just have no choice. If I talk to them, they might listen." Even though Amaka was afraid, she agreed to help Chioma try. The next day, Chioma went into the city, standing where she thought the men would find her. As she expected, they found her. But they were surprised because she didn't run away. She just waited alone on an empty road. "You have nowhere to run, Chioma. Where is the girl?" they asked as they came closer. "Please hear me. I know you are human with feelings," Chioma said seriously. I used to work for these rich men too, but I chose to fight against them. Working there is like being chained, you cannot live free. I know you are tired too, but you are scared to leave because they will hunt you down. That's why we must come together to expose the boss and his whole business, Chioma said. The men listened carefully to Chioma, some quiet, thinking deeply because they saw themselves in her story. Don't tell me you are serious about this, one man called Stone asked the others. Think about it, Stone, another man answered. We are slaves working without freedom. Shouldn't we at least listen to her plan? I'm scared, Stone admitted. I know she is right, but what if they find out? Everyone involved will be killed. Not if they don't know what we plan, his friend said. Just the four of us, you, me, Emmy, and Chioma, can bring down the boss. After talking a long time, all three men agreed. They decided to work with Chioma to stop their boss and end the killing of innocent people. Their unlikely team was formed, joined by their wish for freedom and justice, even though danger was bigger than ever. But secretly, Stone was not sure. He pretended to agree but had other plans in his heart. Meanwhile, they went back to Mr. Joe and lied, saying they could not find Chioma and Amaka even though they did. Mr. Joe got very angry. I told you not to come back without the girls. We are sorry, boss. We looked everywhere, market, forest, all hiding places. But we saw nothing, one man said, acting honest. The foreign buyer who paid big money to buy Amaka for ritual was getting more and more angry because of the delay. I cannot wait forever. If you can't bring me what I paid for, give me back my money now, he said. You have been a good customer. Please give me one last chance, Mr. Joe begged. He did not want to lose such a big deal. How much longer? The buyer asked. You keep asking for more time, but my patience is finished. You have 1 week to bring the girls, or our deal is finished, the buyer said firmly. I will not fail. No matter where they hide, any state, any place, I will find them, Mr. Joe promised angrily. Meanwhile, Chioma came home feeling hopeful. She thought she had made the men agree to help her. Amaka waited for her, eager to hear news. Did you meet them? Did they agree to your plan? She asked right away. Yes, Chioma said happily. They accepted our plan. Maybe now we will be free when their boss is removed. I hope it works. So many innocent girls are still suffering because of these men, Amaka said quietly. Don't worry, Amaka. This will work. After our plan, there will be no more abuse by dogs, no more bad dreams, Chioma said, trying to give hope. Before starting their plan, Chioma arranged another meeting with the men helping them. This time, Amaka came too. They talked about the best way to kill Mr. Joe. One man said they should shoot him, but this was not easy because he always had armed guards around him. Maybe we should poison his food. His guards can't protect him from that, Chioma said. That won't work. He never eats anything before someone tastes it first, one man said. I know how to do it. We will poison his cigarettes. When he smokes, it will kill him, Chioma suggested. Everyone liked that idea best. The full plan was, kill the boss, save Chioma's mother right after, convince other men to help them, and finally tell the public about the whole evil business. 2 of the men really agreed to help, but Stone only pretended. He planned to warn Mr. Joe about the attack. When the time came, Mr. Joe asked for his cigarettes, not knowing they were poisoned by his own men working with Chioma and Amaka. They gave him the cigarettes and waited close by as he looked at them. He picked one, lit it, and was about to smoke. But just before he put it to his lips, Stone shouted, Sir, don't smoke that. Your own men have betrayed you. They put poison in your cigarettes to kill you. Mr. Joe quickly told his loyal guards to catch the traitors among them. They were locked up for betraying him. Meanwhile, Chioma and Amaka, not knowing the plan was discovered, went to the mansion to do their part of the plan. But when they arrived, they were caught right away. Mr. Joe already knew what they were trying to do. They were forced before him while he laughed proudly. I warned you, no one escapes the dog family. I will always find you, he said, mocking them. He called the foreign buyer and told him the slave girl was now ready. Amaka sat quietly with tears quietly falling down her face. After all she had suffered, She was still going to be used in a ritual. That night, as a punishment, they locked both women in rooms full of dogs. They made them suffer abuse from the animals all through the night. The next morning, the foreign buyer came to take Amaka. The guards brought her as told. But Amaka started acting strange, laughing wild and talking nonsense. The buyer looked confused and unhappy. "You want to sell me a mad girl?" he asked. No, she is fine. She is just pretending," Mr. Joe said quickly. But Amaka kept acting crazy. "Look at her. She is clearly mad," the buyer said. "I cannot use someone who is not sane." Mr. Joe walked close to Amaka and whispered threats. "I know you are faking this. Stop your nonsense now." But Amaka kept acting. Chioma helped her by saying Amaka caught a sickness from the dogs that made her act this way. The buyer, angry he wasted his time, demanded his money back and left. This was a new problem for Chioma and Amaka. Mr. Joe wanted to punish them for making him lose such a big deal. "You want to torture your own niece?" Chioma asked, shocked. He got angry and hit her hard across the face. "I don't care, you are related to me. I should have sold that slave girl long ago, but you messed up and ran away with her. Now I will make you both wish you were dead," he threatened. "What do you want to do with us?" Chioma asked, scared. "If I can't make money one way, I will find another," he said coldly. From that day, Mr. Joe turned Chioma and Amaka into full-time sex slaves for dogs. Rich men brought their animals and paid Mr. Joe well so the dogs could abuse the women. This was Amaka's worst nightmare coming true, being hurt by animals with no hope to escape. They had no friends, no helpers. If they fought back, they were beaten badly. "Since you refuse to be sold, you will stay here and suffer abuse by dogs for money," the boss kept saying. "Money is money, no matter where it comes from," he reminded them again and again. Finally, Chioma reached her breaking point. Unable to witness Amaka's continued suffering, she seized a nearby spoon and stabbed an approaching dog in the eye, causing it to retreat, howling. When the men discovered this resistance, they punished both women brutally. Subsequently, they positioned guards to monitor the encounters, ensuring the women couldn't interfere with the animals' actions. It represented the ultimate humiliation. With no rescue forthcoming, no escape possible, reduced to sexual slavery for animals, while others profited from their degradation. All their desperate efforts to escape this nightmare had ultimately proven futile. They had returned to their original torment. This horrific routine continued for over a month. A month of being forced to service dogs. Gradually, Chioma began noticing physical changes. Rashes appearing on her legs and face. Initially confused by these symptoms, she eventually began experiencing weakness, fatigue, and vomiting. Amaka felt utterly helpless, unable to assist her suffering friend. Mr. Joe remained completely indifferent, continuing to bring more dogs while collecting payments. Amaka attempted to appeal to whatever humanity might remain in him. "Your niece needs medical attention. She's dying. Yet you continue bringing dogs to abuse her. How can you be so heartless?" Amaka confronted him one morning as he inspected their prison. "I care nothing for either of you. You cost me a valuable transaction. Now you'll generate that money until death claims you," he responded mercilessly. Even as they spoke, more clients arrived with their dogs. And he forced both women, including the desperately ill Chioma, to submit to the animals. When entertaining numerous visitors, he would force Amaka to wrestle other captives in a cage for their amusement. Her weakened condition ensured she consistently lost these fights. Even though Chioma was really unwell, the men still insisted she take part in those humiliating events. Amaka often stepped in for her, taking on extra hardship to shield her friend, while the wealthy onlookers laughed cruelly. During this time, escaping felt like a distant dream. There didn't seem to be any good plan. Am I destined to keep suffering at these men's hands? How long will they take advantage of my friend and me? This isn't the life we wanted. We were hoping for freedom. Sure, I made some bad choices at first, but doesn't everyone slip up? Why should my mistakes haunt me forever? When will I finally taste freedom? Amaka thought with a heavy heart. Stay tuned for part 4. Don't forget to subscribe.